How does this help you in controlling your club face? Welcome back to Swings and Things. It's Coach Terry here. Today we're going to see how this little tool here can help you with controlling the face angle of your iron shots. This just a simple little magnetic tipped tool that's utilized to pick up screws and maybe falls inside of an engine compartment. But for us, in our use today, we're going to use this to basically set a perpendicular angle with the club face so that we can really determine what square is and help us control our golf shots. So if you take this, put the magnetic end right onto the middle of your club face, you'll see that from this club face to the tool, it's a perpendicular angle, just like that. As you grip the club, set it down on the ground, you can see what straight is, and then you can compare that to how your club face looks to you. Lay this club down on the ground at address, and you'll see that if the club face is perpendicular to the blue tool, that's a straight club face. It's a very square club face. Some people like to have their club face a little bit open, and as you can see, when you open up the club face, it increases the loft and also aims the club face to the right. People that close down the club face, it decreases the loft and aims the club to the left. So we want to start with square so that we know what straight is. Now what I like to do is I like to further enhance this by putting a golf ball on the ground. And when you address the golf ball, typically golf balls have, you know, the normal logo, but then some sort of a putting alignment arrow or straight line or script written in a straight path. So I like to set this on the ground, aiming at the target. While utilizing this tool, you address the ball and have the tool directly over that straight line, and then you know what square feels like. It may look a little weird to you at first because you may be used to having the club face open or closed, but this is a good way to set up very square at address. Now, as we initiate our takeaway, we want the first 4 inches of the takeaway to be straight back. And a great way to see that is to utilize the tool once again and have the tool go straight back, keeping the club face square. As we do our takeaway, we're going to stop in our 9 o'clock position, and you'll see that the club head is facing in a downward position, and the blue tool that we have here is facing also in a downward position. If you start to see the club face open up or the tool move upward, it's opening the club face, and we want to kind of keep it down with the club face having the same angle as our spine. So as we take the club away, for the first 4 inches, we want to take the club straight back. And when we get to our 9 o'clock position, we want the club face to be facing downward. The tool will also point in that downward direction. From here, we're going to take the club straight up in the air and hold the tray, right? You know about that second move of holding the tray. And you'll see that the tool is facing upward and kind of over your head. This is a perfect laid off position. If we do the opposite, which is cup our left wrist, you start to see that the club or the tool starts to face downward, and then the club goes across the line. So we want to hold that position right here in our hold the tray position. So let's start from the first 2 positions here. We're going to take the club back straight for 4 inches. When we get to our 9 o'clock position, the club face should be in a downward position. We're going to take club straight up in the air and hold the tray. We'll see that the tool is facing up and over your head. Now the third move is to tuck, which basically just drops the elevation of the club. The direction of the tool should not change. And the final move here is the turn. As we turn, we want the tool to be facing forward and above your head the entire time, or forward direction. So we get to this 9 o'clock position again here. At the 9 o'clock position, it's still facing you, and you'll see as we keep turning, the club face looks like it's open. And typically what we'll do is extend our hands to try to make up the difference. But I really want you to keep turning the hips through the golf ball to bring the club back to square. And what you'll see is this is that shaft lean position that we all try to emulate. We get to that position by turning, not letting go of the arms early, but continuing to turn. The reason why the turning is so important and effective is once we get into this tucked position, the distance from our elbow to the club head is fixed, because if this elbow stays tucked and you keep the wrists cocked throughout the swing and you're turning and turning and turning, the distance stays the same, the radius stays the same. If you were to release those hands early, you notice that this distance gets longer. At that point in time, your body recognizes it, and then it wants to lift up to make up for the difference. And then you either top the ball, hit it really thin, or come over the top of the ball. So it's vitally important that once we get to the tuck position, that we try to hold that position as long as we possibly can, continuing to turn and turn and turn, and trust that, so that as we go through the golf shot, we are still turning, letting our hands release, and letting the club wrap around to our perfect follow through. So now that we got a good understanding of how we want the club face angled, always remember, as we're doing this, we're building our muscle memory and we're getting comfortable with the uncomfortable positions of taking the club back 4 inches straight away, having the face angle to match your spine angle at the 9 o'clock position, throwing the hand straight up in the air while holding the tray. You'll see the blue marker, the blue tool facing forward and above your head, the tuck, and then finally the turn, continuing to keep that tool facing forward. And when you get down here to this 9 o'clock position, we've got to let the club face turn. But we're not going to do it by extending our arms. We're going to do it by turning our hips through and through, and then releasing through the shot. The perfect finish. So now, let's pull the training aid off. So now we're going to swing without the tool. We're going to set up, having our club face square to the target line, utilizing the line on the golf ball to face straight, and then we're going to have the bottom groove of your iron perpendicular to that straight line. We're going to take the club back for the first 4 inches straight back, ensuring that the club face stays square, which will then help with the 9 o'clock position in our takeaway, having the club face at the same angle as your spine. We're going to bring the club straight up in the air and making sure that we're holding the tray, seeing that the club face stays laid off and open. We're going to drop our elbow in the tuck position, and then finally we're going to turn all the way through, remembering not to panic at this point in time and release those hands early, but to maintain that radius between the elbow and the club head, and continuing to turn our hips through this shot, releasing through for the follow through. Here we go. Okay, if you found this tip useful, please click like and subscribe to the channel, and always remember to just keep swinging.